wheels, the same as what we're looking at the minute. Your first involvement in wheels. Is this a difficult thing? Have I cut you on the hop here, Mike? Come on, scratch your head. Go back to when you're probably still at school.
Yeah, when I was at school I bought an old New Imperial.
Well, that's obviously going back.
That's going back a long way. Messed about in the fields on that, and then that was sort of left school.
Well, can I go back to the New Imperial and see how much did you pay for it and how old was she and what sort of condition was she in when you got her?
Paid £10 for it, I think. A long time ago. Yeah, it was alright. It
was this a flat tank thing or something like that? No hand change or anything? You were just trying to visualise what we're actually talking about here, Mike.
I can't remember whether it was hand change or not. No, I can't remember that.
So did you have, there were motorcycles in your family at the time then?
No, not really, no.
Did you have any boyhood heroes at that time?
Not really, no. When I was young, I used to go and watch our local scrambles and Gilbert Walker and who was the other one? Zeke Myers.
Obviously this is Northwest. Can you remember any location as far as that's concerned? We're talking about hill climbs or scrambles or trials?
Just our local scrambles really. Hell's Eaton. That's where we used to go and watch, used to go on the push bike to watch. And then
going back to these days then, Mike, how competitive would you say it was? And obviously you got a buzz out to go and watching it, so you would get your push bike again and go watch the next one.
Yeah. And then we sort of got involved with young farmers, and that's when I met John Bethel. You probably have heard of mentioned Derry Martin. He was the local farm where Hell's Eaton Scramble was, and John got me to go where he worked at Hell's Eaton Layers, the farm where John worked at, and that's how I got started with John really.
Would you say in these early days then, okay, you're cycling to an event, unless you could maybe manage to scrounge a lift, but were you going there, were you helping set out the event or anything like that?
No, not then, no. Then we got, we started on a dot.
So you're 15, 16 at that time then?
I was actually 19 when I
well, there we go. So
actually started racing.
You started work at this time, so
yeah.
You might have been saving for a year or two, a paper round, a milk round or something like that.
Yeah, I think I did a paper round one time when I was at school. Yeah.
So the dot would have been your very first bike of your own then?
The first one I got was a Cotton.
Oh well, there we go. A Villiers.
Yeah. But
what,
never,
197, 250?
That was a 250. Just an iron, just a Villiers engine in. And then I swapped that. I actually got that off John Cooper. Do you remember John?
Well, I don't know if it's the same John Cooper I'm thinking about. Moon Eyes.
No. You probably have. I think everybody will know John Cooper up here.
Oh well, no, it's a name that doesn't ring any bells for me, I'm afraid.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Right. So we got. I got my first dot off Eddie Crook's motorcycles.
Can you imagine how much you paid for it?
No, I can't remember.
What sort of condition was she be in? Was there much to do to it? I mean, I imagine
No.
if you got it from a dealer, it was a runner then.
Yeah, it was a dot with a Marcel Bell on. Yeah, it was alright. It actually was somebody called Paul England. I don't know whether you...
Right. No, I think that name rings a bell.
Yeah, it was his. So that's what we started on. Well, that dot when I first started.
So you've joined a club, you've got your competition licence,
yeah.
You've got yourself a bike, yeah. You're sitting on the line. Can you mind any of the guys that were sitting alongside you on that line then?
Probably Tony Sharp, Bob Dickinson. That's, you know, they were the sort of the top ones in our centre then, you know.
How does the course compare to scramble courses that we have today?
The old tracks like Thornhill, you know, but these modern tracks I don't really care for, you know, with all these jumps and tabletops.
I don't know if Keith would agree with that, but that's maybe another story. So how did you do or how did you manage to fare in that first event, if you can recollect or see how good your memory is?
Can't really remember. I got round and finished alright. I think we would just be riding in a pair of fireman's boots and a pair of jeans.
On saying that as well, something else come into mind. How did he manage to get to the event in the first place? How far was that first event from your home?
About 4 or 5 miles.
Well, that's not that far to push if that was the case, and then of course you might have ridden the bike, but we don't hope there's no any policemen here today that could be listening.
I used to take it with a car and trailer.
Well, there we go.
Well, with my dad's car and trailer. Cattle trailer, I think it would be.
Did you travel far in these days then? You must have had a job that could sustain the finance to enter events. Okay, I'm not saying going through a lot of tyres, but things like chains and petrol, and everybody needs these kind of things.
Yeah, we managed alright, you know. We started getting a little bit of prize money once we got going, you know. Petrol was only what? 5 shillings a gallon then.
Has it went up any since then? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So how long did you keep the dot, and did you do a lot of travelling in these days?
No, just mostly in the northern centre.
What club are we talking about here then? Westmont, I'll just go see.
Yeah, and then we used to do Bassingthwaite, Bootle Scramble, Bassingthwaite Scramble, Bootle Scramble. There was a lot of scrambles when we first started in the north centre. One at Whitehaven, Wigton. What else was there? Scumley Grand National, wasn't there?
Well, that would have come along later on, I imagine. Yeah. That's when you're climbing up the ladder.
Yeah.
How long did you keep the dot then?
Just 12 months, and then we traded it to get a new one.
The latest dot then? What year would this be? What year are we going back to, if you can?
66.
Right, okay.
One of these white strength dots.
Right, okay. So what would, if you can remember again, what would have been the big difference between the 65 dot that you say you had to the 66, you bought a brand new one?
Yeah. It wasn't a lot of difference, it was just a lot of trouble. I only kept it about 2/3 of the season, that much trouble with it, and I went and swapped it for the tribs then. Right.
The other thing that's going through my mind as well, of course, is what the dot stands for. It's built in Manchester, obviously, but the DOT, what's its tag?
Divide of trouble.
Devoid of trouble. Well, I don't know if that's it might get done under the Trade Descriptions Act. That's maybe. So you're saying you sold that, you bought a Tripsa?
Your part exchange.
Well, part exchange then. So is this 500 or 650?
Just a 500.
Per unit?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I got that off Pete Edmondson, you probably.
Right, okay, aye.
Rode that towards the end of the season, and
that's you then. But when you've got that, then Mike, you've moved up a class.
Yeah.
You're now onto something that's quite a bit heavier because it is a 4-stroke. Yeah. You've got a 500cc lump and something that's a different type of power.
Yeah.
How did you compare that then compared to the 2-stroke? Maintenance-wise as well.
Yeah, we didn't have it that long, so I didn't have that much problem with it, you know. So we rode that just to the end of the season, and then we traded in for Matchless Matisse.
Right. So how did this is obviously Mark 1 Matisse. Still a push-rod engine, still competing in the same class, but moving down a cylinder. How successful was that then?
What, on the Matchless Matisse?
Yep.
Yeah, I did. That would be in '66, I think we got the first Matchless Matisse. rode that in 66, you know, had some quite good results on it in 66, and then we sold that and we built a new maximum piece for 67. A new frame, new engine.
Is this still sticking with the Matisse?
Yeah, this is still
moving on again. Okay.
Yeah, this was in 67 that I got this new Maxwell's Matisse, and then that was when I won my first Northern Centre Championship, beating, you know, likes of Bob Dickinson and Tony Sharp.
Right.
They were the top lads around our way then. And then we started to come up into Scotland.
Right, okay, spreading the wings a bit more, coming over the border.
Yeah, coming to places like Polmont. Then there was Crossmichael, that was on the match list and that. And then
at that time as well, of course, Mike, the televised scrambles was a big thing on Saturday afternoon, and it was in a lot of the weekly magazines and papers in the motorcycle world. So a fair amount of publicity that was to be gained as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Did you have any sponsors in these early days then?
No, not then, no. No, just myself, you know.
So how competitive, or how big a change was it to go from that Triumph to one Matisse with a matchless engine to go to the other? Was that a great move to make?
Yeah, it was at the time, yeah. You know, everybody seemed to, the Matisse was the thing to have in that period, you know.
One of the names that comes to mind as far as the competitions department AMC is concerned was Jack Emmett. Was he a man that was involved in any work in any of your early matchless machines? I know he did a lot of work with George Hodge and some of his after he had got off the Gold Star onto the matchless world. Okay, that's us now. We're talking about something like 67.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Then in 68, I actually sold me matchless Matisse to John Bethel. And then what I wanted was, I wanted to get into Victor Matisse, but BSAs wouldn't supply Vickmans with any engines, so I went and bought a twin part CZ, and fantastic machine with the CZ, rode them.
Dare I say, coming back in again, Mike, you probably went down to Vickers to buy that then?
I went all the way
Vickers
down.
that was in the Woodbridge Road in Ipswich.
Yeah.
He was the main importer, coming in through, I think it was either Felixstowe or coming in Ipswich direction anyway, fairly close to the port there. CZs, big time, twin port. Back onto something that was really, you were revving the nuts off, really, to tell the truth. So going back down a class again, this is, now would that have been 250 or maybe 350, 360? Right, okay. So how competitive was that?
Very good, yeah. Didn't set off too well with it. It was left-hand gear change.
Right, there was that, but that must have been a big change then.
Big change, and I think the second time out on it, I think this was over somewhere in Sheffield. I got a bit mixed up with the gears and one thing and another and put it straight into a wall and threw me over into the next field and went and broke some bones in my ankle and wrecked the CZ, the frame, the front wheel and forks.
Just probably in the wrong place at the wrong time. Something happened as quick as you can snap your fingers, Mike. You go over the controls.
Yeah.
Oh, and once you hit that gear pedal, you knew you'd done wrong.
Yeah.
Unfortunate that you've ended up in hospital. Obviously, you're saying the bike was pretty badly damaged. Where was this, and how long did it take you to get yourself and your bike mobile again?
About 6 weeks, I think I was out of commission. Got a new frame and front wheel and fork legs, I think it was. I got going again. That was 68 that would be, wouldn't it?
Right, okay.
And then, you know, we come up into Scotland quite a bit on the CZs, and then we traded the twin part CZ, single part CZ at Eddie Graham's.
Right, okay. Eddie Graham up in Dumfries?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, sorry, down in Dumfries?
Yeah. You know, we come into Scotland quite a lot, you know, when there wasn't anything on in our centre.
Well, dare I say, Mike, was there a big difference between the single port and the twin port then? Was this a 250 or still a 360?
Still 360, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the twin part was sort of marvellous when it was wetted. It was more probably 4-stroke power as the twin part CZ. But you know, the single part CZ I think was probably faster at you know, the top end and that.
What's going through my mind as well, of course, Mike, is okay. Then you said you had dots, but a lot of people came up and the bike they probably got, or some of them got before they got the CZ was the Greaves.
Yeah.
But you obviously didn't go through that path or that road. Obviously, it's personal preference. But what you're looking through the programme, and it would just be everybody that was anybody would have been on a CZ, guaranteed.
Yeah, CZs or Huskies were the things out then.
Right, okay. How much maintenance in these days would a bike like that take then? How much do you have to be on top of them? Whether it be a new big end, a set of mains, ring, rings, piston, whatever.
They were very good actually. Gearboxes, clutches, you never touched them at all.
Right.
You know, they were absolutely bulletproof as a CZ. They were, you know, you couldn't fault them at all.
Dare I say as well, but the fact is, I mentioned earlier, in the wrong place at the wrong time, left-hand gear change. Is there any way you could have put it back onto the right, or put it to the right to suit your personal preference, or did you just manage to get adapted to that left-hand side?
Once you've learned, you know, once you've learned it, you're all right. But just at the beginning, you know, you are, when you're thinking about it, it's all right. But when you're actually racing, you forget.
I want to imagine, in some riders' stables, they've maybe got 2, maybe even 3 bikes. This must be an absolute handful. And just to remember what bike you're on, obviously when you're out on the track there, you want everything to come to hand. Everything's just where you want it to be, set up exactly for yourself. But if it was in the wrong place, if you had a stable, then you could hit a snag. If you've only got one bike, that's a big boost as far as confidence is concerned. I think we're talking about now, what we're talking about, 68, 69?
Yeah.
Still got your single CZ, you said?
Yeah. Yeah, still the single part CZ. 69, then we would get, I think I had actually a 250 under 360 in 69 and 70. And then we got one of the yellow tank CZs. That would be 19. I forgot about these micros. We had to go on a micros for a little bit, 2 micros.
Right, okay then, okay. Was that a 250, 350?
A 250 and a 400 micro.
Oh, well, there you go then, aye. 400 was big time. One of the things that I always heard that was a problem as far as micros was concerned. Okay, Bill Brown, obviously the local dealer, the local man, he was the kingpin and still is. Back hubs breaking up. Did you ever hit that snag?
No. He was the importer at Bolton that I rode these micros for. That would be in 69, I think. I still had my CZ and I tried these micros, but I could manage the 250, but the 400 was an animal.
Is there an answer to that then? Could you put a finger on it to say this was the problem that you didn't like about it?
Yeah, it was too revvy, you know, no bottom end, so
right.
It was all top end. No, it was bad to ride. So
you only had that for one season?
Just part of 69.
Right, okay, aye.
And then we went back to my CZs.
On saying that, how far up the pecking order would you say, if you were desperate for spares from somebody like Vickers, because everybody that was anybody was on these things, and everybody wanted to, well, maintain or if you had a problem, how good were you as far as Vickers was concerned? Did you have a good? Was your name good in the spares department?
Yeah, you could, no problem. We didn't really need a lot of spares for CZs, to be quite honest.
Okay.
No, they were good bikes for CZs. Very little maintenance on them, you know. Well, you know today how many's still going.
Well, that's correct, aye. What surprises me about things like CZs, never ever get a very, very good name as far as road bikes are concerned.
No.
Well, competition-wise, what's coming out of Czechoslovakia, whether it be an ISO, a Jawa and a CZ, at competition level, absolutely fantastic. Whether it be in enduros, even Michael, as far as that's concerned. But I don't know, road bike wise, they didn't get a lot of thumbs up for a lot of people. But as far as competition is concerned, definitely gets a checkered flag with a lot of people.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
So how long did you keep the CZs?
Till 71, it was that like 1970. No, 71, yeah.
Right, okay.
And then we got this blue stroker in 72, I think, would it be?
Right. So can you elaborate on a thing like a clue stroker then? Where's this coming from and what is it?
Well, it really was an works BSAs, really.
Right.
You'll have heard of Alan Clues on
Yep.
CCMs. He bought, I think he bought 12 frames out of the competition department at BSA when they went bang, you know. And they started building these clue strokers, you know.
So we're talking about, well, okay then, the same crankcases, 250s, 350s, 500, and if you talk to John Banks, we're going bigger. But we maybe don't know what to go down that road. Tell us about the Alan Clues. What did Alan Clues do to them that he got them on his road to success?
Well, he just, you know, he bought these X-Works frames and built the engines. You know, he made them 600cc at the beginning, and he made his own. I think the one I have, he got his own barrel cast for it, you know.
Right. Okay.
And then he's made the side covers. You probably have heard about them. And made them very light. The first one I had, it had alloy spindles and bolts, you know, and very light alloy handlebars.
Just when you're talking about things like that, Mike, it just lets you see the mistakes that the competition department at Small Heath were making. How could they not have done that? Exactly the same as what I'm sure they would have been absolutely jealous to the hilt of what Alan Clues was doing to a bike that came out of their workshop.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, the business had went bang at that time. So unfortunately, it just goes to show that it's great that somebody was still flying that the BSA flag or CCM flag, if you like.
Yeah.
So you've got one of these bikes. So are you telling us that you were the first guy to go on the Clues bike then?
First one to get one, yes. Everybody thought I was doing the wrong thing. We had a lot of teething troubles with it at first. Just used to the ignition system was just on a Honda battery, and we had, you know, quite a few teething problems. Things like these alloy wheel spindles and things breaking, alloy handlebars breaking. But on it there was nothing could touch it, you know.
How much success came your way then once you had you're leading the pack, you're flying the flag as far as this mark is concerned, and obviously that's paved the way for everybody else to follow.
Yeah.
Now, whether it be at club level, national level, international level, or Grand Prix level.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a very successful year in '72 on it. Right through '72. Then I got another, they were called Blue Strokers in then, and then I got my second, when I got my second works bike, as you might say, in '72. I think right up through '72 into '73, and then I can't just remember when he actually changed the name to CCMs. I think it was late in '73, I would think.
How much of the, okay then, you've got, I'm not saying you're clocking in and clocking out, but you're riding a factory bike.
Yeah.
Who else decided to join the pack and get bikes similar to what we're looking at the minute?
I think Andy Ainsworth would be the first one to try one.
Right.
I remember Alan Cruz come to Cross Michael with the one that he let Andy Ainsworth have. Alan Cruz rode it at Cross Michael.
Right.
And then everybody else, I think Norman Barra, I got my second bike, and I think Norman rode my old one at the Yorkshire Grand National.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, everybody sort of come on to them after that, you know. And we got into '73. We did some winter television things and a winter Castrol championship. You know, everything was going great, and then I think we would go to Cambridge Grand National and do well down there, and then the first round of the British Championships at South Moulton in Devon.
Right, that's a hike.
That was when I had my best results in British Championship. We had a fourth. I think it was probably best of the bunch that day. And the following week, did our local scramble and broke my leg. So that put an end to that season.
Well, unfortunately, I'm just looking at the bike again. CCM's back to the right-hand gear change again.
Yeah.
You've got another injury, putting you on the sidelines. Did they bring somebody else in to take your place?
Yeah, well, Norman, they all sort of come in then. Ainsworth, and then
Norman, another man as well, of course, famed for his two strokes. Well, at one time, of course, you see Norman Ryan Crooks's two strokes.
Yeah.
But, well, okay then, really, I would say jumping from 2 strokes to 4 strokes, probably 2 valves to 4 valves, and right up through the different capacities and whatever it be. Okay, then you've got this this broken leg. How long did it take you to get mended and get back on the bike again?
Well, I started doing trialling. Doing a bit of trialling, and
on saying that as well, then, did Clues have a trials bike at the time?
No.
Because if you're contracted, you can't ride anybody else's bike bar one of theirs. What were you riding as far as the trial was concerned?
Montesa, I think.
Okay.
I think, don't know, it was my second time out on the trial. I went and broke my leg again.
Not the same leg?
Same leg, yeah.
Not the same brake?
Yeah, more or less, yeah. So that was, and then, can't remember when I started again now. '74 I would start again.
Right, okay.
Clues give us a bike to get going again, and we got going again, and then it was 1974 bike I think he gave us, and then we updated it to a '75. That would be 1975. You know, we got going again. I think we come up to Scotland, and I had my first win again. I just can't remember the place where it was in Scotland. We had quite a battle with Norrie in Linburn.
Right, okay.
And then he promised me a new bike for '76, and we never really got it. We got one that had sort of been a demonstrator. I think the army had it, and I think Norman Barrett had been using it. I think Eastwood had it as well, so I got it, and it was in a bit of a state when I got it. He gave us all the bits and pieces to do it, and I had that much trouble with it that every time I rode it, it broke down. And I think we've been to Weardale, broke down there, and I think it must have been one at Bassingthwaite, and it broke down again, and I'd had enough. So I retired then, you know, sent the bike back to Clues, you know.
So were your breakdowns mainly mechanical? I'm not saying it was your fault.
No.
Mechanical or electrical?
Just mechanical, gearbox problem.
Right.
Just had so much trouble with it, I got fed up with it, you know, so I retired from then, and then the classic scenes would start, you know.
Well, I'm just sort of thinking, the boys would have come along at that time as well, of course, and they're getting into bikes,
yeah.
and you're helping them in every way you could, passing on your well, it's in the blood.
Yeah.
Passing on tips and helpful hints and whatever it be to try and get these guys up running, up through the schoolboy classes and one thing and another. Racing at modern level. How much an attraction would you say that's drawn you into the classic scene? Obviously, John Bethel comes back to mind as well.
Yeah, it was John that got us going in the classic scene, you know. We did all the Haynes as well, that's another. Me and John did quite a lot of Haynes.
Well, that's the workshop manual department. These guys worldwide known. I just sort of think Claimer would probably be their only competitor, but they've got the market as far as that's concerned. Okay then, the boys are coming along. You're still there. John Bethel's there. What was your next bike when you got back onto you get the kit back on again?
Well, I think I would make one up out of the bits and pieces that he had left. I think John, was it Peter Remington? Did I ride one of John's first? Is that right? Peter M. Shaney at Dalpedder, that's the first.
Okay.
That's the first one when we come.
Thanks, Keith.
That was the first one when we come back to the classic scene.
What was the situation as far as CCM was concerned at that time when you made your comeback?
What are you talking about? 76.
Yep.
Yeah, they were about at the. I would think they're about the top then, weren't they, CCM?
Right.
And then they seemed to go downhill after that, didn't they? You know, they weren't competitive, were they? Was it a difficult thing to try and get back into again because you had a bit early off due to physical injuries? Yeah, you know, it takes a bit of getting back into it, you know.
Confidence as well?
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
What's your time?
Ready to go, Mose?
Okay. Cheers, Davey.
Right.
Moving swiftly on because Davey Hill is just telling us that I've been standing here talking for too long. The next race after our break just got to get going. Okay, briefly, just say a couple of words on John Bethel.
Oh, a great guy was John. Known him, was my best man, and we've been all over the place scrambling together. He's got a lot of people interested in it. A lot of people's turned out. You know, he got him going again. He got me going again. If it hadn't been for John, you know, I probably would never have started classic scrambling if it hadn't been for John. You know.
Well, in my opinion, John's just an absolute legend, and just a mind of information.
Yeah.
His knowledge was absolutely priceless. if it wasn't me standing here today talking to you, it would have been John that was doing the job. Definitely. Once again, briefly, we're looking at a stable, a shed, or CCM sitting in front of us. What would be the bike that you would pick if you were to go back out there this afternoon and win the big race of the day? What's so special about these bikes?
The 75 one I think would be the best. Best one to ride.
And why is that?
It's got more travel.
Right, okay. How much travel are we talking about here? So, because it's still no upside downs and whatever.
No.
Okay, laid down forks on the back.
Yeah, it's got laid down shocks at the back and front forks. More travel on them, you know.
Right, I see a man standing across the far side of there, George Hodge. He's just trying to run away as well. I've embarrassed him as much as I'm embarrassed and standing here talking to Mike Barnes. Mike, you've given us an absolute cracking insight into the world of yourself, and that's no mean feat. Absolutely fantastic. You are our guest of honour. Let's hope that everybody else is going to enjoy the rest of the day. You will be staying with us until the finish of the last race, when you're going to be presenting our prizes at our prize given in the centre of the paddock. Once again, please, folks, this is our guest of honour. Put your hands together, please, for Mike Barnes. Thanks very much, folks.